Hello, everyone. Charles Bird, August 3rd edition of Rant-Om Thoughts. My favorite topic in the world. And I mean this sarcastically because, once more, it's being shoved into my face. So here's a brief refresher on where I stand regarding the pandemic and the official reaction to it and why. I am very skeptical of the official narrative that's being peddled by the government, the media, and by media I mean the managed media. I mean the mainstream media, the corporate media, or whatever you would like to call it, and that's also being peddled by the medical establishment. All three institutions are controlled by known liars. And because I am skeptical of the official narrative, I oppose the lockdowns, and I oppose things like mask mandates and if some sources are to be believed, goggle mandates might be coming down the pipeline. I mean, as vulgar as it sounds, it might be inevitable that there'll be mandating butt plugs, because there is some panic porn out there saying that it's now transmissible by flatulence, or for those of you who live out in Oakdale, farts. Okay, there is this meme floating around. Let me see if I can pull this up on another window here. Yeah, it's actually a photograph of a newspaper clipping called "Freedom Not to Not Wear a Mask," and it goes something like this: "Welcome to the Freedom Cafe. We trust you to make your own choices if you want to wear a face mask. And in the same spirit of individual liberty, we allow our staff to make their own choices about the safety procedures they prefer to follow as they prepare and serve your food. We encourage employees to wash their hands after using the bathroom, but understand that some people may be allergic to certain soaps or may simply prefer not to wash their hands. It is not our place to tell them what to do. We understand that you may be used to chicken that has been cooked to 165 degrees. We do have to respect that some of our cooks may have seen a meme or a YouTube video saying that 100 degrees is fine, and we do not want to encroach on their beliefs. Some servers may wish to touch your food as they serve it. There is no reason that a healthy person with clean hands can't touch your food. We will take their word for it that they are healthy and clean. Water temperature and detergent are highly personal choices, and we allow our dishwashing team to decide how they prefer to wash the silverware you'll put in your mouth. Some of you may get sick, but almost everyone survives food poisoning. we think you'll agree that it's a small price to pay for the sweet freedom of no one ever being told what to do, and especially not for the silly reason of keeping strangers healthy. Now, I know exactly what that is. That is a scare tactic. That is an appeal to fear. You do not get to study history, politics, current events for as long as I have, which has literally been since childhood, which has literally been, gosh, for about 35 years, and not know a thing or three about propaganda and how it works. And what that meme does is it appeals to people's fear to get them to think and do what the powers that be, sociopathic sons of bitches, want you to think and what to do. You know, my IQ is too high to fall for that. It is. Okay? Besides, life is about risk, you know? It is. Life is about risk. Life is risk. Every decision an individual makes carries with it a degree of risk. I could walk to the corner store 3 blocks away for a Snickers bar and run the risk of getting run over, as astronomical as those odds are, and then come straight home and run the risk of getting run over, as astronomical as those risks as those odds are. You know? and frankly, taking my chances with a hyped up flu that has a 98 to 99% survivability rate is far, far, far less risky to my way of thinking than becoming a hypochondriac shut-in just on the say-so of a bunch of war criminals and pedophiles. You know, and that idiotic meme, it reminds me of another one from very early on in the pandemic, when they would try to scare people into thinking that the lockdowns were the rational way to deal with it, by claiming that by using the example of poisoned M&Ms or poisoned Skittles or poisoned jelly beans. It would go something like this. Would you take a handful of jelly beans from a bowl of 100 in which one was poisoned? And, Tom Woods, my favorite podcaster, actually came up with a perfect response to that. If the jelly beans represented everything I've worked for my whole life, if they represented financial solvency, if they represented all my hopes, dreams, and aspirations, you'd better believe I would grab that handful and eat them without the slightest hesitation. So take your scare tactics, take your panic porn, and shove it. It does not work on me. Some of you who've been with me a while, you've heard me talk about Carlos Fierros. He was a coworker of mine and a very dear friend. He died of prostate cancer very early on in this crisis, and his family wasn't able to give him a proper send-off. John Lewis, a corrupt congressman and a man who had known documented Communist Party ties going back 6 decades. A man who, even though I'm not a supporter of congressional term limits, supporters of congressional term limits would point to him as an example of why they believed term limits were necessary. He died, and we got treated to 2 weeks of a state funeral for John Lewis. And this weekend we saw a packed room full of dignitaries, 3 former presidents, 50 congressmen, celebrities, and none of the BS restrictions that us peasants have to subject ourselves to. Yeah, rules are for us little people. So again, I don't want to hear any more talk of the new normal. I don't want to hear any more talk about necessary sacrifices or the greater good. Shove it. Shove it. Shove it and shove your anti-human, socialist, technocratic dictatorship. Just shove it. I don't want to hear any more of it. And I won't. You know, I see it on my Twitter feed. I see it on my Facebook feed. I will go after it furiously. I will. I don't care how friendly we are in real life. I will go nuclear on it. I don't want to hear any more of it. All right. On to the next item. The Garrett Foster shooting. I said I would address that in a previous episode, and now that even more facts have come to light, I'll do that. Okay. As I said, I've spent a few days hanging back, waiting for more facts to come out, reading various news sources' takes on it from across the spectrum, because a lot of people were jumping on bandwagons for or against Foster and what he was doing before he was killed. And then people just started saying things to each other that just couldn't be taken back. You know, you had and it became an even more contentious topic between us libertarians. You know, a lot of us just started forgetting that hey, the enemy is Leviathan. It's not each other. And people who are reasonable, people who are of goodwill, can disagree on these things. So more evidence came to light. Daniel Perry, an Army sergeant driving a rideshare vehicle, made a left turn past a red light and approached the demonstrators. So it wasn't like they approached him and mobbed his vehicle. He, that didn't happen until he stopped and nearly hit some of the demonstrators. Then they natural reaction, approached his vehicle. Foster did not discharge his weapon, and this is coming from multiple eyewitness accounts, 3 videos, all of it confirmed by Austin PD. I don't know if ballistics have come out yet, but if they will, it will even further confirm the truth of what happened. So, Perry deserves to have the fullest weight of the law brought down upon him. He should be charged. He should be charged with murder in the first degree. His social media postings. He before the shooting, he expresses a desire to harm the demonstrators, and he's been cited after the shooting, harassing mourners at candlelight vigils for Garrett Foster. I think he knew damned well what he was doing and what he wanted to do. This looks very much to me like a mental defective who wanted to go out and do some vigilante heroics. Now, there is that video of Garrett Foster shooting his mouth off, but no, it doesn't make him look good. It's not relevant. I don't believe it's relevant to the issue, but even if it were, youthful jackassery is not a death penalty offense. He did not deserve to die. His family did not deserve the grief that they were put through with the loss of their loved one. His fiance did not deserve that. His folks had to shut down his Facebook memorial page because trolls kept flooding it with very, very nasty, hateful comments. So there it is. There's my take on it. And no, this does not change my opinion of Antifa, BLM, or SJWs. Nor does it change my view that libertarian outreach to such elements is just pure folly. That it's a waste of breath and productive time. See, people like Foster, they view the political spectrum as a square with a bunch of grids in it, and it's divided into 4 quadrants. right authoritarian, right libertarian, left authoritarian, left libertarian. And they've made a priority out of achieving what they call bottom unity by reaching out to left-wing elements and speaking to their concerns, learning their language, But here's the thing: that's not what the real spectrum looks like. It's not a gridded square, even though it does make some interesting fodder for memes. That's not what it looks like, and that's not how it works. The real spectrum is a straight line. At one end, you have anarchism. At the other end, totalitarianism, where you will find communism, socialism, fascism, feudalism, the absolute monarchy of the pharaohs, and what existed in the Bronze Age. All of that's the same. There is no real substantive difference. Any difference, if any, is in the songs they sing and the slogans they shout, the uniforms they wear, and the scapegoats that they point to for blame whenever their system fails. Us libertarians are somewhere in here. Classical liberals, minarchists, which is basically what I am. I prefer a small, minimal government that does a few things really well, as opposed to Leviathan, which has the power to both take care of me and take care of me. And then you have your voluntarists, agorists, ANCAPs over here somewhere. And well, some libertarians, they think they're going to try to achieve bottom unity by going to BLM rallies or Antifa gatherings or going to spots on the net that's populated by SJWs, and they think they could appeal them to them by saying, "Hey, look at us. We're against police brutality too. We have a common foe." See, because BLM, Antifa, and the SJWs are way over here, and because they're very doctrinaire in their thinking, they think that anyone who is to the right of, say, Pol Pot is a white supremacist. See, now, us normal people, when we hear white supremacist, we think of the Ku Kluxer in his white robe, burning a cross in an open field. We think of the skinhead with the SS bolt neck tattoo, bomber jacket, Doc Martens, passing out Xerox leaflets at some punk show somewhere, or the so-called alt-righter in his cheap suit, in his Hitler Youth haircut, screaming about Jews every 5 minutes on a 6-hour-long webcast. But BLM / Antifa / SJWs are not normal people. So if you believe that If you believe that hard work and determination are keys to success, then that's white supremacist. They believe, if you believe that you are responsible for your own happiness, they say that's a white supremacist value. If you believe in that the traditional family is the ideal, well, they'll say, hey, nope, you're a white supremacist. And if you protest your innocence, they'll say that it's even further evidence of you being a racist. If you say you have black friends, they'll say, oh, even more evidence that you're a racist. Oh, you have black women in your dating history? Racist. Some of your favorite celebrities growing up were black? Oh, racist. There is no pleasing these people, and adjusting yourself to accommodate them, it's degrading. Don't do that. No, what we libertarians ought to do is just stand firmly where we're at. Just stick to our core principles: free markets, personal freedom, peace. Just stand firmly where we're at. Be ourselves and embrace and welcome any individual of any skin color: white, black, red, yellow, brown, any creed: Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, Mormon, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever. Any walk of life. With a curious mind, welcome and embrace them. Let them come to us. And if we were to really reach out to people and do outreach, don't go all the way here. Go somewhere in here where the mushy middle is at. Where most people are apolitical because they don't put a lot of thought or research into the issues of the day, and if they vote, it's usually however their parents voted. Just reach out to them, and just give them your just give them your ideas, versus their ideas and the consequences of their ideas: death camps, genocide, ethnic cleansing. And our ideas: peace, prosperity, freedom. Okay, cultural consumption. There's a YouTube video called Toy Galaxy. Now, most of my childhood was spent in the 1980s, 1981 to 90. And even though it wasn't the ideal childhood, it was still a good decade for toys and cartoons and comic books. And so if you're very nostalgic for that decade and for the toys of that decade and the cartoons of that decade and the comic books of that decade, I would very highly recommend it. It's a very fun diversion if you want to, say a good 10 to 15 minute break from COVID, BLM. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description below. Also, also a little homework assignment. Tom Woods, who I quoted earlier, did a speech at the Mises Academy event titled Fact-Free COVID Hysteria. Please watch it. All right. Thought I had quite a lot to talk about. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. So, Friday, definitely. I will go out and do some filming for Mondo Modesto. Now that I think I've got the perfect equipment for it. I hope I hope it's something that some of you out there will enjoy. All right, well, think while it's still legal. Reopen America. Recall Newsom. Vote Gold. Jorgensen Cohen 2020. And I eat commies for breakfast. Cheers.